Eek, it's an ET, an ET. Or maybe it's a homeless person, or maybe it's some poor scientist. But on the 12th of October, there's a new moon, and that thing opposes Uranus. So you're not going to like Uranus characters. Could be all sorts of people. But ET, your power companies, your electric companies, you know, there's all sorts of Aquarian Uranus people out there you're not going to be happy with. Eek! It's an ET. I'm Rollin, an astrologer living in Kona on the Big Island, here to fill you up with interesting information from a source you don't normally see. A source that was well respected in ancient times, astrology. So this is ancient science, and we're applying it in the modern world, and these new moons are important. Now this new moon is at 20 degrees of Libra. It's going to set off, who are we following? Mr. Trump and Hillary. So Hillary's going to have to take a back seat after this new moon, and Mr. Trump will rise up and trumpet. Anyway, as far as you're concerned, this new moon opposes Uranus, and that is problem. Here's a goodie. Mercury's going to go direct, yes, on October 9th, and the place that it goes direct is sextile Saturn and conjuncts the North Node. So this is an excellent time. Yes, it's Monday, and Monday, well actually the moon goes by there on Sunday morning. I was going to say, sign your contracts. You know, there's going to be lots of important things come up. Mercury is Hermes. When it's stationed here lately for me, suddenly there was Hermes Trismegistus and this emerald tablet, and Thoth, the old Mercury of the Egyptians, and I got to read got translations of the anyway. I won't get into it, but Mercury can give you lots of secrets. He's about words and writing and numbers, and so Sunday morning, oh boy, great time for thinking, talking, communicating, polishing your final contract offer or whatever. Anyway, up ahead, that new moon, that's going to be interesting. I hope they don't beat up more homeless people. What's it like day by day? Well, I'm going to run the moon around the edge here, and as it makes angles to these various planetary bodies, it generates the mood of the time. It's a generic mood, you know, it's not you. You could go off a little early, a little late. You might not feel some of these, depends on your personal chart. But if you're out there in public, or if you're around other people, you're going to see this kind of thing happen. Now, if you're watching the Thursday show, well, here's Thursday blocked out on the 8th. And in the morning, there was a conjunction to Venus. You were lazy and sexy, weren't you? Yeah, so there's some sweets there Thursday morning. But beware, because here comes old Saturn. And the Saturn square kicks in Thursday night, depressing, cold. You're watching the Thursday night show. Well, I'm going to do a lot of business here on this show. I should try to get you to laugh, but I don't feel like laughing much. Okay, so what goes on here Friday morning? Well, here's Mars. Venus and Mars are still tracking along together, but you see they're now 10 degrees apart. And so it's, you know, there isn't so much physicality to the sexiness. At any rate, the moon hits Mars here. It's Friday morning. Get out and do the chores. Be a hero. Exercise. Get out and put your hands on something. That's what Mars likes. The trouble is that there's a Neptune opposition. Yeah. Where is it? Let's see, here's Saturn. He's at 2. Neptune opposition is at 7. Here's where it changes. Oh, Neptune's back. What, I got confused? No, this is... Look out. Okay, here's 10. And so the Neptune thing comes in here Friday morning too. Oh, there it is. I marked it out. So it wasn't room. Everything's getting messy. Help, help, I'm in chaos. Mercury went retrograde yesterday. Anyway, this isn't so hot. Here's Neptune and Mars. And when Neptune opposes Mars, and that's what's going on, that's like a source of ignition. Mars, he's a flame, he's a fire. Neptune is hydrocarbons, chemicals. And so this flammable gases. So this is a pretty dangerous spot here as the moon goes by Mars on Friday. And if you're going to do chores, then, well, watch out. Anything dealing with liquids, I'd be very careful. You're going to be absent-minded. It's not a good time to go play with sharps and hots Friday morning. Even the little things you do in the kitchen, you'll notice Friday, morning is going to be kind of tough. Clears up Friday night. Here's a conjunction to Jupiter just after dinner, around dinner time, and so everybody starts to laugh and it's nice and fun, and there's a nice trine to Pluto here at the same time, all happening at 13 degrees. So there's some control and power, and looks like you fixed everything and you're jolly and you feel like you're back in the driver's seat again Friday night. Kind of feel that way through Saturday, the 10th, as the moon continues through Virgo. Once it hits Libra, you're in the Mercury zone. Oh boy. Yeah, Sunday morning, really early. Talk to the kids. Write down things. Write the laws, the rules, the regulations. Straighten out a lot of this stuff. Good, solid, practical sense here. We're on a budget. The timing is correct. We're communicating and we're nurturing. And this is a good time for, let's fix the kids in our country. Free college educations. That's a good start. Sunday continues with the moon in Libra until you hit the Pluto thing. That's the square here. That's really 2 a.m. in the morning, Monday, and it's a little panicky. And there's volcanoes around, yeah. Mauna Loa is starting to quiver a little bit. Of course, that was the end of September, huh? We're kind of getting out of the zone now of the Pluto station, which was on the 24th. But you could still get some activity here and not like it. And this is power and control issues. This is territoriality. It all comes up late Sunday night, early Monday morning. And, don't let it get the better of you, because there's a new moon here Sunday in the middle of the day, and that's the time to have your ducks in line. Thing is, it opposes Uranus. My recording decks aren't working well. I don't know what to do. I got all kinds of electrical breakdowns, equipment breakdowns. I'm twisting connections and changing things, and oh boy, it's not going to get better. I can see that. This is good for a month. Electrical problems, a dislike of Uranus. Uranus. What's Uranus? Anything with electricity and anything that goes around, like motors, airplanes. You're not going to like the airplanes, the airplane industry. Going to be more trouble there. Computers and airplanes all hooked together. Computers are Uranus. So this is a month of Uranus trouble. And we'll see what happens. It's always in the connections, folks. You have a chance to fix things here just after lunch, on that new moon. But Uranus has already messed with you a bit. An hour or so before the new moon is your glitch. Oops, I got a glitch. You got to recover and get your head and get your plan going again with that Sun conjunction. Otherwise, you'd be stuck with this for a month. No fun. Moon's still in Libra as you wake up Tuesday morning, the 13th. After breakfast, it moves into Scorpio, and here is a nice sextile to Venus. Yeah, it's Tuesday night. Tuesday evening, be with somebody you love, have some sweets, relax. Wednesday morning, really early, 2-3 o'clock in the morning, here's a trine to Neptune. So this is like music and champagne time here, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, yeah. You can get out and do some stuff. Here's a sextile to Mars on Wednesday. The moon's in Scorpio, sextiling Mars. Get out and fix some stuff. There's wisdom running all over the place. in the middle of the day. Here's the moon sextiling Jupiter from Scorpio. Nice. So things, got more pleasant here Tuesday afternoon, and they got to fix things on Wednesday. Not bad. Continues through Thursday. And then on Friday the 16th, the moon shifts into Sagittarius, a mutable fire sign, and the SHIT hits the fan, because here's Saturn. Eek! That nasty old Saturn. You'll feel them Friday morning right away. What do you mean I can't do this or can't do that, or there's laws or judges or lines or signs or, ugh. Mercury comes through. Listen to the kids. Communicate here about lunchtime, before lunch. That'll go fine. But here's Neptune and Venus, and they're not doing so hot. So the sweets all went sour. The pleasure wasn't what you thought. She didn't really love you. She was just confused. She thought she was in a movie. Friday night. Not a time to, you got to be real serious to get through this if you're with somebody you love, because there'll be confusion. Yeah. And even anger, as you get into 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So this is not a social time. This is a fighting time. Time you get to Saturday at breakfast here, though, here's a nice trine to Uranus. Brotherhood comes in. There's a sextile to the new moon. Hey, we can make a new start with this. We don't have to hurt those homeless people. Eek, an ET. ETs could be good for us. Who knows? Yes, there's some bad scientists, but there's some good ones. And you'll find out about that Saturday morning. And you can fix a lot of those machines. Listen up, Frost. I gotta do something. Once you get a little short in a machine like this, and it keeps popping up, it's just gonna, I put fans on it, I hit it with my fist. Anyway, never mind. Maybe it'll fix itself here on Saturday. A lot of stuff will. You'll feel pretty good about yourself Saturday night. Here about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning's a nice sextile to the sun. I'm getting the job done, he said. Yeah. Moon shifts in to Capricorn. Everything settles down a bit. Sunday night, here's a nice sextile to Neptune. Here's a time for church and music and the higher heart. Don't take the kids with you. Mercury is in square, and they're confused. And so, leave them at home. You're going to listen to music, put the kids in the other room with a book on Sunday night, the 18th. That's the way it is. October 2015. A last warning, at Friday night, the 16th, there could be some lost girls. Love is lost. Nobody knows where they're going. It's very confusing and upsetting. All this, of course, is happening in the middle of a month when earthquakes, hurricanes, homeless people, ETs. Gosh. Anyway, I'd keep my young gals at home on Friday night the 16th. Just a word to you fathers out there. Quick story for you. Some years ago, when I was in my middle 30s, I went to the School of Public Health at UH in Manoa. They had one then, till some pig got a hold of it and turned it over to MDs pushing drugs. It's a wonderful school of public health. And I got a master's in pollutions and things. Anyway, there was a man there, Professor Wolf. He actually looked a little like a wolf. And you went to his class, and it was astounding, the things that he told you. Like, how many different kinds of doctors there are in the world. He was a medical dude. And Professor Wolf told his story. He says, the peoples of the world can be divided into 3 classes, he says. There's the opium people, there's the pot people, and there's the alcohol people. And he says these have all their little diets and their cultures all built around these things. And he says now these three guys are walking across the desert, going to this walled city, and they come to the walled city, and the door closes, slam, the gate closes. Oh, you can't come in. You're stuck out in the cold desert. You know, the sun went down. As soon as it went down over the mountain, they locked the gate. And these three guys are sitting outside. There's no fire, there's no food, there's no music. Oh my God, what do we do? A Chinaman with the opium pipe, an Arab with his hashish pipe, and an Englishman with a hip flask. The first guy to speak is the opium guy. The opium guy says, "Hey, come on guys, don't be upset. Just sit down here, we'll sit down next to each other, cuddle up for the coal, we'll go to sleep, when we wake up in the morning, everything will be okay." Opium. The second guy to speak was the Arab with his hash pipe. He looks down, looks through the keyhole. He says, "Hey, come on, guys. Let's make ourselves small. We'll climb through the keyhole." Ha 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 ha. The third guy to speak is the Englishman, and you know, they eat wheat and alcohol and meat. He looked at the door and said, "Ah, kick the damn thing down. Kick the damn thing down." Okay, so Professor Wolf said all of our wars are they're north-south wars, and they're all about the drugs and the foods and stuff. And now here's the thing, I remember when I was raising boys, we discovered that if you give little kids sugar, they become like violent and criminal. It's not because the sugar does it, it's the sugar takes all the B vitamins away from their systems. They don't have a lot of storage, and without B vitamins they get a little nutty. Well, we got the same problem with the folks in this country. Yeah, I just saw the Republicans debate. Terrible. All those guys are so warlike and angry. Here's the thing. Here's the key. We're legitimizing pot. We legalize pot and get these rednecks to smoke pot instead of alcohol, and maybe a little less meat and a little less sugar. By golly, they'll change their consciousness. And maybe the U.S. won't be the most warlike nation in the world. They might turn progressive. They might fix the war, might fix hunger, might fix global warming. Yeah. So legalizing pot is a sneaky move on the social scene of the USA, but a very effective one. So here I was reading the Emerald Tablets, and lots of times Mercury, Hermes, Thoth, says in the tablets that all the information is hidden there. Like he talks about circles and then angles. He doesn't use the word astrology. As above, so below. But a lot of what he warns is this knowledge is so important. This ancient religious science of astrology. No, I don't call it religious anyway. It's the science. The secrets of it are so important you don't want the barbarians to know, he'd say. So here's a secret for you. I don't care if you're a barbarian. This is the simple way how to find large events, and like earthquakes and hurricanes and the big things that people remember for a long time. And the first thing is you look for the stations. You know, the stations of, especially those big planets. Well, Saturn will give you cold. Jupiter will give you thunder and lightning. Neptune will give you floods, yeah, and tsunamis. Uranus will give you wind, hurricanes, earthquakes. Pluto will give you volcanoes. So these outer planets are the ones that basically are the ones that disturb. And, you know, we're looking after Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto because, you know, the astrologers of old didn't know they were there. They couldn't use these guys. And I've been concentrating on Uranus, which is sudden interruptions. Anyway, looking for the stations is the first thing that you do of these planets. And you look for them in your ephemeris. Now, if you're into astrology, you know, this is a 50-year ephemeris. Neil Michelson, You can get them on the internet. You can get a 100-year one from 1900 to 2000, then a 50 from 2000 to 2050. And this just lists longitude, but that's where most people work in these times. And when you're looking for stations, you know, it's a little small thing. It's a little D. See, here's Pluto going direct. You can tell from the numbers. See, it's going backwards here, 59, 58, and then direct it goes reverses, 58, 59. So when you're looking for these little R's going retrograde and these little D's, as the planet slows down, it gets super strong. And I found that within a station of Saturn, people are depressed like 20 days before Saturn stops in the sky and 20 days afterwards. You used to be able to see it in the gold market. So this particular Pluto station, Mauna Loa, I've heard, is rumbling, has to do with volcanoes, and there was a lunation back on August 1st or August 29th that had Pluto on the bottom of the chart, which is like a volcano in your backyard. Anyway, there's Pluto. So as you look through here, what we're going to talk about next in looking for these large events is here's a station of Neptune. Now you notice I go through these things and mark them out in my own eccentric way. Here's the Neptune station right here. And I know that it's going to extend out here and extend out there, the dangers of tsunami and flooding and fuel spills and oil problems and all the doctor, priest, artist, musicians getting in trouble. And you and I will all get dreamy, play music, drink too much, or sometimes you get religious enlightenment here. Wonderful, blissful understandings of the heart. Neptune is a wonderful planet. It's one of the planets of enlightenment. So, now this Neptune is in the third week of November. And so I'm going to go back and look for possible stuff there. Now here in December is the guy that I'm usually looking for. Here's a Uranus station. And here it's going to go direct right here. And I've marked out some of the range of the thing. But here's the shakiness. Here's the hurricane. Yeah, it's December 25th. Earthquakes. So I've got some action. I got Neptune action here and Uranus action here. And I know the time in a general way. The next thing I'm looking for is lunations. Number 2, check the lunations with astrocartography. I'm going to check for lunations. Wait, number 2, look for lunations aspecting the station. So in the case of Neptune's stationing at 7 degrees of Pisces. And so I'm looking around to see if there's any lunations there. And there's a 3 Gemini. That's within 4 degrees of squaring it. Now that lunation is a full moon on November 25th. And, you know, that's going to make Neptune irritating. This is a full moon squaring it and puts a lot of over-emotionality into the Neptune thing. Yeah, of course we had a full moon on Neptune, a full moon in Pisces. That was back on the 20th or so of October. But I'm interested in the area of this stationing. Okay, so the full moon on November 25th is definitely of interest. The third thing that you have to do to look for these large events is when you check the lunations, the full moons and the new moons with astrocartography, and look for possible locations. You're looking for angularity. The trouble with this technique is, what we have found is, when you've got these guys on the angles, here, they get loud. But sometimes this happens a month and a day or two before the actual happening. These signals go off early. With some of the events I've studied in the past, well, 1 month and a day is kind of common. And sometimes 2 or 3 months, a signal comes off and says, hey, look, here's Neptune going to make a fuss in this location. So, okay, let's go ahead with Neptune first. Uranus is going to come up December 25th, and I don't know if I'm probably going to run out of time here. And look at the mess I've made. What a mess. I start out and I get simple. Here's a nice new moon, see, on the 25th of November. And Neptune is stopping. And Neptune stops on the 18th. See, and so here's my Neptune stops on the 18th. And then I start looking around. Here's Saturn squaring Neptune. Uh-oh. When Neptune stops, it's going to make Saturn hard to do. And, you know, the more I look at this time period, the more of these little notes pop up. And I'm not organized enough to make a good list. But here's the Sun squaring Neptune, 1129. Here in 1125, the transiting Moon squares Neptune. And Mercury and Saturn is can't regulate or confine liquids. That's one of the themes for this time period. What do you mean you can't confine liquids? The dam overflows, you know, the sewers overflow, brown water, and whatever it is. This could be anything from tsunamis to real floods. Now we got Neptune on the IC, December 18th. So we still, in the middle of December, are worried about the flooding thing. But now this pops up in astrocartography in several places. And maybe I got to do more on it. But in China, along the west coast, in Hong Kong, we're going to see some of this Neptune action. In Hawaii, we're going to see it. Yes, it's going to visit us. And this could be a very large event. It focuses on November 25th, when we're mostly uncomfortable and we're stuck. And we're stuck here due to floods or tsunamis or the road washed out or whatever it is. It's a difficult thing. So I can't give you all the details here, and I'm too disorganized. But at least you know, last week in November, we're going to have real Neptune difficulties here, as they are in a couple other places like West Australia, the far tip of Australia. They're going to see some. Well, no, wait a minute. Nova Scotia and the west coast of Australia and Hawaii and China, all places where the Neptune thing is going to get heavy duty. No, we're not talking a wind event. That's Uranus. We're talking a water event. That's Neptune. Truth is, I can't tell a tsunami from a great rainstorm. They both wash out the roads. And nobody's responsible for this stuff but me. Ha ha ha.